Stay on the route. I used to think night bus driving was just patience with headlights, green lights you make friends with, benches that look like questions, fare boxes that count better than banks. I'm 25, picking up extra on the late run of Route 19, downtown out to the river loop and back, last inbound at 1:55. My rules are boring on purpose. Stop only at posted stops. Never open the rear door off the brake. Don't kneel the coach for shadows. And never accept a reroute from the tablet after midnight. Dispatch jokes about it. Their laughs don't stick. By 11:08 p.m., the coach had learned its hum. Diesel low and steady, blower fans, the announcement computer clearing its throat for no reason. In the depot pull-out lane, the fare box spat a test receipt without me touching the button. No totals, no route number, just do not open rear door. Along the edge, ghost gray digits that weren't the time. 3:13 am. My dash clock said 11:09. I tucked the strip behind the clear panel because paper makes rules heavier. The first odd thing was polite. 2 taps. Sounded on the glass of the driver's safety screen. Measured. Not rings. Not a coin. I glanced at my reflection under the fluorescent. A half beat late, with a second head. Behind mine, tilted toward my ear, mouth parted like it had reached the first half of a word. I blinked until it was just me and a clip of stop announcements. The tablet in its cradle woke to a card I had no RT called. Reroute available, saves 13 minutes. Under it, double tap to confirm. With 2 tiny hearts that pulsed like a dare. The arrow didn't point left or right. It pointed down. I hit cancel. The card slid to the corner and pretended it had always lived there. Outbound was the usual quiet. A nurse on 3rd who says thank you like a blessing. A kid with a skateboard who paid in nickels and guilt. At 11:31, the bus did its held breath trick. Not quieter, aligned. Engine and blower. The little transformer behind the door lamp. Even the rattle I hadn't found yet. All on one note for 4 slow beats. In that chord, the front door latch shivered against its strike, like a sleeper scratching and behaved. At Carter and Pine, no one pulled the cord, but the stop request tone chirped anyway. The sign over my head flashed. Stop requested, and forgot. As I opened the doors, the interior camera above the kneeling switch caught, for one frame, a palm fogging the lens. From the inside, 5 long ovals and a heel, and sliding. An inch before, it thinned. The next frame was honest plastic and emptiness. Enrapur, unknown. Text buzzed my phone in its prohibited pocket. Confirm 313 loop. The little hearts pulsed. The map dot sat inside. My coach icon, then behind me. Then I didn't answer. The announcement computer, without a stop code, tried out a voice it doesn't have. Slow, careful, like each word was lowered into place with 2 fingers. Don't open. The speaker hiss swallowed it. At the river, the loop sign flashed and froze on Nopur. 313, before it remembered. 11:49 and a riverfront. A tap-tap traveled along the accordion joint, patient, measured, then answered itself from the rear bench like footsteps that didn't owe weight to anything. I checked the rear view. The camera showed dark seats and the faint shape of the head in the middle row, tilted, mouth parted, on don't. I cleared my throat, and it respected the noise enough to vanish. Downtown inbound is a ribbon of windows arguing with the moon. At 12:06, a man in a hoodie stood at a stop with the wrong destination on his face. He didn't raise a hand. The tablet lit. Courtesy stop ahead. Confirm. Double tap to confirm. With those hearts again, patient as a pet, I stayed on the brake and rolled past because the rule isn't personal. It's physics. In the mirror, as the man turned, the bus window beside him fogged a palm from the outside and slit door down like the weather had learned to sign. Between stops, the kneeling chime sounded on its own. The coach didn't kneel. From the back, 2 knuckles rapped the rear door glass. Measured, polite. I said, "Rear door disabled," to nobody, because sentences are muzzles. The farebox printed a second unsolicited strip into its little tray. "Keep doors closed." The paper edge was damp, like letters that sweat. At 12:23, dispatch crackled. 19. Copy a detour? Their voice had the brightness people wear to hide yawns. I thumbed the mic. "Negative," I said, sticking to route. Construction lifted at 10. Silence. Then a different timbre came through the speaker. My own voice, half a breath off. "I'm here." The next thing was that careful museum tone threaded underneath the static. "Leave it closed." I set the handbrake at the next red and listened to metal. Remember it, S honest. The stop request tone chirped again, with no cord pull. The interior sign blinked. 3.13. And then, stop requested, before yielding to. Next, Magnolia. A tap-tap sounded at the back again, matched by a softer tap-tap under my left foot, like the floor wanted to be a door. I put my palm on the handle and felt pressure matched. From the other side, not pushy, agreement through steel. On south, a cyclist drifted in and out of the bus lane like a thought choosing grammar. I kept behind them because the world gets kinder if you pretend it already is. The announcement player woke by itself. "Do not stand forward of the yellow line." Then softer, not in its voice. "Don't go down. The only down from here is the yard ramp to the depot," which I wasn't anywhere near. At 12:41, a hail came on 13 in a tone that thought it was a horn. One long rolled through the speakers, wide and even like a boat on the river I wasn't on. The bus answered itself by aligning. Again. Engine, blower, transformer. One held note that set my teeth to counting. In that breath, the hoe, rear door. Latch. Nudge. A hair toward open and settled like a dog, reminded of a rule. A young woman boarded mid-route with earbuds and eyes that said she had learned to be small. On purpose, she tapped a dead card and stepped back, apologizing to the air. "Ride on me," I said, the way night drivers repay the universe for the nurses at 11:05. As she walked back, the dome camera above the rear bench caught her reflection, and, for one frame, a second head leaned into her ear, mouth parted. She didn't feel it. She sat and looked at her shoes like they were a movie. The tablet insisted again. Reroute, double tap to confirm. The hearts pulsed. I hit cancel. Hard enough to make plastic feel judged. Accept Downriver Express? The screen dimmed, but didn't forget. Downtown approached like a decision. The stop at Oak has a shelter that thinks it's a stage. As I nosed in, the public trash bin lid thumped up, twice like knuckles remembering manners. The shelter glass fogged, a palm from the inside slid and thinned. My dash clock hiccuped to 3:13 and back to 1:06. The nurse from earlier got on again. Same weary kindness. "Thanks for being here," she said. "We're here," my mouth said. and the radio stole the line to rehearse it. 3 blocks from the terminal, the voice announcement system tried a stop name. We done. T have. Next stop, 313. The cabin lights flickered once and steadied. The young woman looked up like a dog hearing a word it likes. I rolled through the green, steady on the brake, and the phantom stop did not materialize. At the terminal, the bay sign over my slot blinked. 313, and then 19D, like it had been caught daydreaming. I killed the engine for 3 minutes to pretend I get a break. In the black window of the passenger door, a palm bloomed up a thumb width higher than my breath, and a slither a patient inch. I left the door shut and sipped coffee that tasted like a meeting. Outbound again. The city had gone hollow and kind. A man in a suit used the bus as a room to be unhappy in. A trio of college kids fell into the seats like it was practice for falling into sleep. At 1:41, the radio whispered that careful voice in my ear, closer than machinery has a right to be. Keep the doors closed. The fare box warmed and pushed one last damp edge strip. Leave the rear sealed. I made the river loop with the easy grace repetition earns. As the coach turned under the bridge, the water below did its tiny, aligned hum again. The river, the motor, the wind into the mirror, and let go. The tablet brightened like a child craving consent. Final reroute? Confirm 313 Express? The hearts pulsed, small and patient. I turned the screen all the way off. It forgot itself reluctantly. Then came the thing rules are for. Past Mill and 8th, the rear door light. On the dash shot to green without input. The chime that warns of interlocks sang its lonely note. From the back, tap tap, precise as punctuation. Then tap tap again, like echo with opinions. The young woman stood, braced herself, and glanced at the door like it had said her name. Please don't, I said to the mirror, to the bus, to the part of the world that likes tests. The careful voice answered from the speaker grill above my head. Don't open. The rear door hummer sucked. Inward, a hair and held, the interlock flirting with mischief. I set the brake, threw the rear door toggle to disable, and stayed in my seat. The camera feed showed the glass shiver and a handprint. Form and fog, 5 ovals and a heel. Sliding not down until it met the rubber like a gesture learning gravity. Rear door remains locked, I said in my radio voice to people who weren't there. The coach remembered loyalty and behaved. The last inbound was soft as an apology. 2 stops from terminal, every clock I could see blinked. 3.13 for 1 heartbeat, dash, watch, the phone I shouldn't have, and corrected. The Maasern aligned hum went through the coach like a plank settling in a house. The announcement player, tired now or kind, said the same sentence the city has been trying to teach me. Stay on the route. Dawn in the depot is just light, pretending to be a supervisor. I fueled, parked, signed the sheet. The night foreman counted buses with the face of a man who once counted cows. Quiet? He asked. Mostly, I said, and slid him the damp edge strips. He frowned at, do not open rear door. Like it was a new union grievance. Printers old, he decided, the manager spell people keep for nights they didn't ride. He tapped the tablet cradle and said, we used to have a test script labeled 13. Somebody left a ghost. I swapped off nights a month later and tell people at S because I like seeing the river make its own light. Some weeks, in my apartment, my radiator knocks twice at 3.13. like a polite passenger. The bathroom mirror fogs, a thumb width higher than I can reach. A miser palmist clears, a coin, and slides a patient inch. When it does, I keep my hands off buttons with hearts and my wheels between the painted lines. In the steady voice the bus taught me, I say, stay on the route, leave the rear closed. For a long, thin moment, the room hums one note. Like a coach at idle, a head leans near my left ear and practices the first half of Marxner done too. And then the pipes, remember water, the hour, lets go of its number, and whatever was learning, my stop's a half. Beat behind me chooses someone else, a late run, and lets me sleep like a person who got everyone home.
If you survived this far, leave your like to prove you are not afraid.